All right, so please introduce yourselves. What teams do you four play for?
Uh, Hi, I'm AJ. We play for Thembo IHop.
Hello,
Play.
I'm Len. I'm the blaster player for Thembo IHop the Slayer.
I am Damp. I am the stupid brush one trick of Thembo IHop.
And I'm Tux. I play mostly NZAP, but I kind of flex every once in a while.
I didn't say my weapon.
Go ahead.
I do dually squelchers.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk a little about the wow, a little bit about the team that you guys were assigned to coach. So, what team were you guys assigned to coach for this event?
That would be non-binary fuss.
All right, and have you heard of the team you coached before, or is this the first time you guys heard of them?
I I only have heard of them through Damp because I think Damp knows somebody on the team.
Yeah, one of their members, Seraph, was an old friend of mine. I haven't spoken to them too much over the years. We met through Splatoon, and I know they had an interest in comp, but I never really pursued it with them. But seeing them do it now was really cool. So I saw they made this team. I definitely was informing IHOP about it because we were like, "Whoa, non-binary team, heck yeah!"
Yeah, I guess like what were some of the things that like you learned about the team, like maybe like their general style, personality wise, or like just like how did you guys feel about like just getting to know everyone on the team?
I learned that they have a Dapples player, a good Dapples player, so that was really cool. It was really cool, like learning like what their comps were and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get on to I guess more questions about I guess directly you guys. Have any has anyone on the team coached before, or is this like everyone's first time doing it?
So, funnily enough, we all kind of started coaching right around the time we were approached about IDP. My collegiate team, they're Div 9 and Ludi. They asked me to coach them. I've also been approached about my weapon. I believe AJ coaches their partners team here and there,
Yes, I
and
do.
yeah, and Len has been asked about some blaster questions too. So we've like
Yeah.
just started, but like this lined up perfectly because we were all kind of like, wow, people are starting to want coaching from us, but we feel like we don't have any experience. And then this got dropped on our doorstep, and we were like, well, we better be doing this because this is a good experience.
Yeah, definitely. I guess like from coaching, I guess like have anyone done like I guess like player to player coaching, or is it like do you feel like there's a difference, or like how different is it from coaching like one player compared to like coaching like a whole team?
So since I do the niche ink brush funny weapon, I have been approached specifically about one-on-one coaching, which is most of what I've done up to this point. Which it's a lot different from coaching a team. Like with a niche weapon like mine, it's like I know a lot of ins and outs. I kind of trust my knowledge on it. When you switch that to like a full team, it's a little bit nerve-wracking to try to tell someone who has way more experience with a certain weapon or role, like you should be doing this or trying this, because yeah, I try to stay humble. I don't want to be the guy who's like, oh, I'm right about everything, and then I get proven wrong immediately. So it's really, I just had to kind of trust that like my game sense and my knowledge can help me give advice to people who play things that are different from me, and I think it has so far.
That's like really good insight. I know that's what I've been told a lot before. It's like player to player, especially it's like if you know that specific role or weapon pretty well, it's like you're like specializing in that compared to like as a whole team
Hmm.
it's more like team coordination or like comms, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which it's just a whole other world.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially when like they have comps or like you're not really used to. It's like, oh, well, like like, oh, like especially when the comps we run, it's a bit different than the standard meta comps. So if
Oh
people try to
yeah.
keep us like
That's
We don't have
true.
bad.
any Zuka weapons, and the team we were coaching, we were watching a lot of games where they were using Zuka, so
It was like,
that
oh
was
well,
interesting.
yeah.
I mean, I know like the specific like doing most of the pairings we try to do it with like intent, like especially if we knew like maybe this team's off meta and another team's off meta, maybe they're a good like coaching pair. I think that's like the main reason we try to pair you guys up with non-binary fuss, because we knew like they had a Brillo player, which was like I guess like what like sort of like how did it like look like when you guys were like going into it? Did you think like you guys would be coaching like a meta team, or was like it with your like knowledge of playing off meta, like what type of like information were you able to I guess like give a team who tries to play a little like less meta or like off meta stuff?
Um, I think it gives us insight on like maybe expectations because when I was coaching them by myself, because we actually kind of did like separate sessions with non-binary fuss, but when I was coaching them, I think being on a not meta team kind of helps me communicate to them like you don't have to have cooler. That's kind of what I was talking to them about because they were trying to implement cooler. I'm like, it's okay if you want to and you should experiment, and they were experimenting a lot. But it's like, as someone who plays on a team that's not very meta, like you don't have to have like these expectations, I guess. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think they generally didn't, which is good. I like that about them. Like I think they generally just want to play the weapons they want to play, and it gives them like better synergy to have like I said, they have Dapples and Umbrella, and like that is like those are really quirky.
Yeah, especially the Dapples, like even though when I kind of went into one of their matches and I saw the Dapples and I had to do like a quick like, all right, they're off meta. Let's not say Dapples are not a weapon that you should run.
Mhm.
I after I watched them play a little bit, I was like, wait a minute, this person's just like me. Like our weapon roles are similar. We're both annoying off meta choices that just have good mobility and are annoying in really small range. So like it was cool to remember like, oh yeah, that's why people pick these niche weapons because the Stapples is just like me, but it has a torpedo. And so I was able to give some advice about that, which that felt pretty good.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I guess let's move on to the next part. This is mainly about like just coaching the team specifically. Like what was one of the biggest challenge like overall you saw when coaching the team, and how did you like approach helping the team, I guess, overcome the challenge?
Um, I can't think of too many. There were a few specific problems, but for me, like a problem I experienced like trying to coach is not taking for granted my knowledge as like a Div 3 player and like someone who's been playing the game as long as I have compared to some of them. Because if you want to effectively like teach people things, you have to like you have to go in order of the things you're teaching people. So I had to deconstruct the knowledge I have and the knowledge like we have that IHop has as a team, and realize like non-binary fuss might be at a different level of what knowledge they have about the game, and I need to teach them more fundamental things at first because things that are more complicated are going to be a lot harder to grasp, and you can't throw too many things at them at once. That was a big challenge for me because I think actually a lot of teams at lower and higher level have a problem with like coordination and call outs. And that's what's like something I noticed. But I'm like, even we kind of have those problems, but it's like to a lesser degree, kind of.
Or it's
So I
like
tried to relate it to that.
sort of at like a, I guess you did say it, it's like at a like different degree. It's like low level has specific call outs that you work on, mid level has their own, and top level has their own, and it's like I see what you're saying. It's like sort of going backwards and looking back at like when I was at this level, or like looking at like how they are, like how am I gonna like sort of go backwards on it and teach them like what I learned, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyone else have anything else they want to add to that? I think that's a pretty big point of like coaching as well.
Yeah, I think for me the biggest challenge was definitely because I'm the kind of a crapper when it comes to being a slayer. Like that's my brain kind of works differently. So when it comes to different comps and whatnot, because my main weapon cannot do what most other players' weapons can do. My main weapon was just literally just for slaying. So when it comes to definitely helping out their slayers and whatnot, it was more of like, all right, let me see how what they can do benefit more that benefits their team than what I can do. That was definitely the most challenging thing for coaching on my end because of that fact that I can only do this specific thing at this specific time. While their weapons are a lot more flexible in that regard. So that was a little bit challenging. But once I understand, like, oh, they still have the same fundamentals in a way, where it's like, okay, you can position yourself in this certain area where it benefits your team. You don't have to do the exact thing that they're doing, but your own thing, since they're they're meant to be in the fight 9 times out of 10, and once again they're a lot more flexible in that regard. So definitely it was a challenge to understand that, but once I kind of got into the groove of coaching in that regard, I definitely came to understanding how it worked. So it was definitely hard in that regard, but
Yeah,
kind
and
of
well, Len, if I may compliment you really quick, because one thing I noticed in our coaching session that I was like, oh, that's really good, Len, is like given your experience as a Slayer, like no offense, buddy, you don't know much about support. However, like
I
you
don't know.
understand what's annoying about like painty weapons fighting you, so you were able to give like their supports advice on fighting their Slayers, or even giving their supports advice on helping their own Slayers. Like that was cool. Like that's the kind of stuff you can offer with your perspective. So I liked that.
Thank you, Dan. Much appreciated.
Yeah, did anyone else want to add anything?
Yeah, I kind of did, but I was going to say really quick. I think a lot of kind of what I realized about what I said earlier in regards to this question is like a lot of skill is actually about consistency. And that lower level, it might be hard for them to like consistently have like moments of greatness almost, and then like the higher you get, the more consistently like people are playing very well. And I actually feel like I learned that from this experience, and I thought that was really interesting.
Nice. All right. Yeah, that's amazing. I guess on to our last question for now. Do you think this event helps bridge the gap between the different skill levels of community? So like most of our idea going into this was having like it was off the jackpot idea of them coaching like a low level team for low ink, but it's like the teams that are being coached are low ink eligible, and the teams that are like coaching others are the ones that are either mid level or high level. And I know like a lot of this conversation we have like in the community is like high level looking down at low level, or like low level always like what's the word, like putting high level or mid level at like this pedestal, like they just want to get out of it. So like do you think that sort of helps bridge like making it what's the word, I guess like
Or just the gap.
yeah, just bridges the gap, like putting like someone that you would look up to or like put on a pedestal, and then just like putting you guys like just in a VC, like getting to chill with each other, talk to each other.
Yeah, I definitely think it helps. Our competitive scene is very, very tight and pretty small. Not pretty, but it's extremely small. And coaching definitely helps lower level teams get to understand and experience the game on the high level players, like mindset, like oh, they understand how the game works on that fundamental level, and it helps higher level players get to understand how low level players think and their motivation of why they started comp in the first place. You know, not everyone becomes a god tier player overnight. That's just not how it works. Everyone starts, small or somewhere. I think it also helps the scene learn about standout players and teams. With their adaptation, because remember silly kitties became a div 4 team, and like over like a month or so they were like considered to be like a div 2 team, and Zenith on that team was like, now they're playing for like high level top level players. It's just honestly insane. um Communication is key in Splatoon, and even as a group community like ours, that we're close with, pretty not super close, but we're close with each other to know, oh, this is this player, they think this, this other player does this. And I definitely believe that this program helps with that a lot, with the communication, understanding each other as a competitive scene.
Yeah. I also like I do like because ever since also getting Div 3, like I have had a few players come up to me and be like, "Wow, you're really cool," and I kind of like freaking them out because I just try to be very chill about it. I don't see myself. I don't like putting myself on some pedestal with my skill level. Not even that ours is that insane. I mean, I'm proud of it, but I'm not that proud, you know. But
Wow.
like, I always try to be very like inviting and not look down on anyone, because I do hate that. I remember what it was like being lower level and like just feeling like a mass amount of disrespect from some mid level and high level players, and it's just like it doesn't have to be that way. I'm also like my sense of humor is just very like I'm like the butt monkey of every group, so I try to do that with lower level people. I'm like, guys, don't worry, I suck at Splatoon. Like I have some advice, but don't you worry, I fuck up everything you do. Like it's just anything to make them chill and just realize like they are the same kind of player as me. Like just because I have a higher number attached to my name does not mean they are like any kind of leagues below me. Luckily, non-binary fuss wasn't really like that, but I've just seen that with other players, so I always like to talk to them and just get to know them and let them understand like I'm not like a weird high level, mid level person. I'm just Damp Waffle.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I know when I was in low level, I always was like, oh my god, like that guy's so cool. They're like Div 2, they're like Div 3. But it's like, in reality, like a lot of us are just like, we're just like here to hang out with friends, get to meet new people, It's like that's
Mhm.
part
Yeah,
that's just part of like what's so fun about like Splatoon, and you know, just the competitive scene in general.
yeah.
All right. Those are all my questions. But is there any last comments you guys like to maybe like incite other people if they're watching?
Yeah, I have a few comments. First off, thank you and the staff for making this program. This was a very, very
Yeah.
quick thing that y'all did, and y'all pulled it off very well, considering like there's so many teams here, low level, high level teams, and they're all just communicating with each other, like extremely well coordinated between you guys, you and the staff. So kudos and thank you for this opportunity. Much appreciated.
Yes. I'm so excited for the tournament. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, for sure. And thank you guys for like, putting time out to help like the teams and just like to be here with the interview. All right.
Yeah, it was really
Yeah.
fun.
But like, why don't you guys plug yourselves a little bit? Where can the people find you?
At IHop Splat or IHop underscore Splat on Twitter.
Yes.
And for me, that's at Damp underscore Waffle. Very hard to remember, I know. It's also Damp hyphen Waffle if you
Yeah.
got the blue sky thingy.
I'm at Tux67 on Twitter and Blue Sky. Hee Anyone
I
else?
am AJ on Blue Sky, spelled how my IGN is, and 5488AJ on Twitter. The numbers might be complicated, maybe just go to IHOP's Twitter account.
Oh, true. You can find our Twitters on it.
All right. Oh god, I'm the longest one. I'm drawing dude light on almost every social media site you can think of: Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, Twitch, YouTube. But literally every single one of them, I'm usually there just chilling.
Follow Len on Twitch.
Yes, I'm a streamer.
You can listen to us do stupid things.
Yeah, you can watch
True.
us play tournaments and stuff.
He loves
Be
to like
silly.
make our life experiences into content, so follow him.
Exactly.
True.
All right. Thank you guys for your time.
Of course,
course.
thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.